This is Ghost Hunter 385. I am back again with more Mortal Kombat. So, just give me a quick minute here to get everything rolling and we will start. Alright, let us begin our conquest of combat.
You got it.
We can't linger. We'll be captured.
We need help getting Kenshi to the portal at Sundo.
I can take you only to the city's gate. Tarkatans are forbidden inside.
Yeah, the thing
I'll
that's
see you the
actually
rest of the
sad
way.
is Baraka's character
It's
is
the
a
least
lot
I can
more
do to
in
make
depth
amends.
this time around than in the previous game timeline.
God, this reminds
It's
me
actually kind of refreshing, but his story is more tragic.
The Manticore battle.
Yes. It was a pain to shoot, but man, did it come out epic.
I can picture it exactly.
This is the living forest.
Aren't all forests living, Baraka?
No others have trees that house the souls of the dead. Whoa, wait a tick. We're talking ghosts? Good ones, not evil. You guys know anybody in here? Some distant relatives.
You will find no Zaterrans.
Why not?
The Warmbloods don't welcome us. So we keep to ourselves, living underground in Sikander province.
Then how did you meet Shang Tsung?
That I could take human form made me a freak among my people.
You
I
know,
was
Reptile
terrorized,
was
run
originally
out,
a hidden
starving,
character,
beggared.
and he
I
was
joined a
a
traveling
pain
carnival.
to unlock.
Turned out there are many
It was
who would pay
interesting,
good money
really.
to see my gift. Back then, Shang Tsung was a huckster. We crossed paths, and he saw what I could do. When he began to learn real sorcery,
But
he
I
asked
think
to
I need
study
to
me.
address something here
When I
on
declined,
live
he
stream.
took my family
That's
hostage.
something that keeps bugging
That's an
me.
offer you can't
Well, not
refuse.
bugging me. It's
He
something
is
that the
dangerous.
Emperor keeps
And he
jabbing
has
at.
plans. He,
You know,
General
the
Shao
Emperor.
Rain,
You know,
they
he
are
is my good
conspiring.
friend.
do
So
what?
let me sit here and say
I
this.
can't say for certain.
The Emperor is my
I've
good
only
friend. We
overheard
have
fragments.
been friends for many, many years. But the Emperor tells me that, you know, I really seem to hate women. And to be honest here, I do not hate women. I never have. If I truly hated women, I never would have had children. You know, I never would have had children. I never would have gotten married.
Quan Chi sends more demons?
Wait, we're not.
With each of you I kill, my absolution grows nearer. Shedding your blood brings me closer to the light.
Fight.
And that being said, you know, I get it. You know, I don't say nice things about women, or at least not. Shoot, that messed up. And, you know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but more often than not, I call people out on their bad behavior.
Fight.
Now, to be fair to women, to be fair to women here, a lot of women tend to get a fair amount of bad rap. Well, reputation. A lot of women tend to get bad reputation because, you know, we are products of our society. And what do I mean by that? That we are products of our society. I mean, the best way to say this is that, you know, I grew up, you know, I'm a 90s kid. You know, my mornings were reruns of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Power Rangers Zeo.
What is that?
And, you know, I was all... And, you know, I grew up... And, you know, I grew up in the egalitarian way of things. Hold on a sec,
Sleep through every lesson?
That one, apparently. Netherrealm's hell, but real.
No shit.
I appear nearly human because I've purged most evil from my soul. When I'm done, the last vestiges of my demonic form will fade away.
Why were the demons after you?
They were sent by Quan Chi, my former master. I was part of his Sisterhood of Shadow. He wanted, still wants, dominion over the realms. I renounced him when I realized that I could not help him defile them.
And now he wants you dead.
Precisely. I followed Quan Chi from the Netherrealm here. He's building devices that steal souls on a mass scale. He's testing
Sorry about
first
that,
on the dead
everyone.
that reside in the forest.
You know, being a parent never truly
to
ends.
harness their power.
But anyway, I was saying I grew up in the 90s, and I was very much given the... It's not the egalitarian... What? It's not egalitarian trait. The egalitarian argument. I was raised under the...
Quan Chi could lead us to Shang Tsung.
Not the belief, but the idea that men and women, you know, men and women were the same. You know, that was very much kind of how I grew up. That, you know, men and women were the same. I mean, hell, I grew up with those commercials where you had the two athletes say with the whole anything you can do, I can do better thing. And, you know, that was how I grew, you know, that was just part of how I was growing up. And, you know, I also grew up in what amounted to a single mother household where, you know, my mom worked until night, and I was off, and it was very often just me and my brother at home until she got home.
Kia and Jataka were the first to hunt me.
So, you know, I I can sit here and say,
Actually,
you know,
he's an outworlder.
very many different
But he
things.
mastered the
But,
dark
you know,
magic
I
and
grew
moved
up
from
in the
feathered
single mother
travel to my
household
realm.
where, you know, I got,
Any idea how he
and,
buddied up
you know,
with Shang
I
Tsung?
very much got,
They
you
share a
know,
common benefactor.
women
She plucked them both from obscurity.
have,
taught them
women
everything they know.
rule, if you
I've never
will,
met her,
here.
But there's no
Now, am I
question
saying that
she's
my
a
mother
sorceress
was this
beyond
female
compare.
dominating person? No, that's not what I'm saying here at all. What I'm actually saying is that I grew up very much with minimal male influence. And, you know, I was, you know, I also got shoved into the role of the middle child for various reasons that I'm not going to get into here.
Do not try to negotiate, Havoc.
We need proof that you'll deliver.
So with that being said here, you know, I grew up very much being treated,
magic, my realm's people are no longer poisoned by sunlight.
you know, I very much got the middle child treatment, plus I also got
When will we have
the,
technology?
you know, you as the boy are always wrong. Now, if my mother heard me say that, she would sit here and tell me that that was not true and that's not how I was raised. But if I were to sit there and go through just how many times, you know, I felt ignored, disregarded, and I could even remember specific instances of the fact that, you know, tell me what I did wrong to deserve this grounding. You know, if I could sit here and go through all of that, you know, and also my school life was not kind to me, to say the least.
You heard her. Millions could die.
Which is why we don't want
So,
you tripping us
with
up
that
out
in
there.
mind, you know, my attitude towards women is
sword.
not
Why?
wholly negative.
Just give
It's very much,
What? I can't.
so that being said here, you know, I don't believe in the altruism of women, which is something that others believe. I do not believe in women's altruism. You know, I do believe that, you know, they're,
Yet again, you evade capture, Ashra. And now it appears you found allies.
We are joined against
so
you,
that,
sorcerer.
so, you know, that being said here, you know, you know, it's, you know, there are those who want to believe in women's, you know, the better nature of women, and, you know, that's somebody's purview to have, which is fine. They can believe in the goodness of whomever all they want. I, however,
It was forged to destroy evil. It's slain many of your vampire kind.
We can't help what we are. That we feed on blood doesn't make us evil.
Fight!
so, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell people what they should and should not believe. I've never been a fan of that. Just like how I've told more people than I care to count who are smokers, so, you know, I don't, you know, and, you know, I will sit here and say people are, you know, I'm very much that people are people, and, you know, this is who they are and this is who they choose to be. Now, there are those who choose to believe so with that being said here, you know, it's very much women are human and they're going to act human. Now, does that mean, you know, they're bad? Well, no, it doesn't mean that at all. It means they tend to act so, you know, I'm very much of the opinion, like most people, is that, you know, women all do what most people do. They look out for themselves. And does that mean that they're selfish or that they're doing what they believe is necessary so they can thrive and prosper? So, you know, my view on women is not what you would consider negative, anti-woman, whatever. I'm just very critical of women. And why am I critical? Because if people go throughout life without having to deal with the criticism, you know, it's this soft treatment, and my thing is, you know, if women are running around acting like spoiled children, as an example here, or there are those who, or they believe they're entitled to this. So, you know, do I fault? So, you know, to be honest here, do I fault people for being people? Absolutely not. Because in some cases, I act in my own self-interest when I shouldn't. So I choose to be critical of women, not to be a jerk, not to be hateful. I do it.
Killing one realm to free another is a heinous proposition.
So I choose to be heavily critical of women because, you know, how does, you know, society loves to, you know, show women as these poor downtrodden things, and that was never the case. You know, one of the things that, you know, feminist women will love to sit there and say is look at history and say that until the Equal Rights Act of 1974, I gotta stop my mouse. I gotta focus. Damn it. Back.
No one will stand in my way. Not even you. Fight.
So, that being said here, you know,
You aid Quan Chi speaks volumes about you.
because if you actually go through so now where was I? Oh yes. Now, it's feminist women love to say that, but the truth is, but you know, this is not the truth. The truth is that many things, God damn it, that many things that have happened in life, you know, it's all been very much related to class. You know, just as an example, you know, women love to sit here and say women have been shamed, and, you know, some will point to the historical example of the Scarlet Letter, and how, you know, this was women's oppression. And the thing that was actually, that in my opinion was really sad about the Scarlet Letter, was that the woman in question actually got a pretty bad rap for what happened. And, you know, and what do I mean by that? Well, one, you know, standards back then were very different. But, you know, the thing that a lot of people tend to forget...
No one will stand in my way. Not even you.
Fight.
is, and, you know, they'll sit there and say that this is historic oppression, and, you know, it's very much. Okay, that's it. I've had enough of you, Havoc. But, you know, the truth is that everything has been about class. And, you know, this is the one secret that most feminist women do not want to acknowledge, was that society has often and heavily been based on your class. And what do I mean by your class? I mean that... I mean, just as an example, you know, if you were a woman born to the right classes in different time periods, you could get away with different things. You know,
I always feared you would be trouble.
oh, what's a really good example?
Like your sisters.
I don't remember this woman's name, but it was during the 14th century.
Fight.
And, you know, once she started getting old enough, you know, she really worried about her beauty would fade. And, you know, and, you know, sadly, you know,
This has been a long time coming, sorcerer.
Fight.
and, you know, what did she do when she started getting older? You know, as gory as it sounds, she started bathing in the blood of the young women that were sent to work in her castle. And she did this for, I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 years, where she would kill, drain the blood from these young women
When I'm
who
finished,
came
I will finish you.
and she would bathe in the blood of these women. And it wasn't until the monarch of the area could finally decided that he was fed up with hearing about what she had done and ordered her execution. And, you know, this is, you know, one example here. I could go on. You know, we could talk about how Queen Isabella of Spain was much more beloved than her own husband, and the people liked her more so much. that it was well known that if Isabella of Spain decided to, she could have led a rebellion against the king and become the sole monarch of Spain. So, you know, women who love to sit here and say that these feminist women who love to sit here and say that women have done this, and if you think I'm making this up, remember Elizabeth I. She never had a husband, and she ruled England. Then, you know, we can also talk about how Bloody Mary, her elder sister, executed many Protestants and returned England to a Catholic nation.
It siphoned his souls. It now has his
And, you know, we can...
That was unexpected.
So, you know, there are many examples of women from history who have done more. I mean, we could even talk about Boudica if you want to go back to closer to the times of Rome. So, you know, women have never truly faced the oppression that feminist women love to say is the truth. The thing that a lot of these women will not acknowledge is that a lot of what we deal with nowadays came and the thing that a lot of these women do not want to acknowledge is that and, you know, what does this show us? It shows us that a lot of the feminist rhetoric about women being powerless, you know, barefoot and pregnant, the thing that a lot of these women don't want to acknowledge is that a lot of this is based on class. And it's always been based on class. Voting rights in the UK, in the United States,
Combat must have weakened the magic that binds his souls together.
Also heavily dependent upon your class. And, you know, a lot of the things that people tend to forget is that a lot of voting rights were tied to land ownership. You don't believe me? Go look it up yourself. And, you know, these people love to sit here and say that, you know, this is that you know, this was the case, that was the case. But the truth is that in a lot of cases, stuff like this was due purely to classism. And it's sad, really, that they objectively deny this.
He's too dangerous to let live.
Liu Kang needs to question him. He knows Shang Tsung's plan.
I need to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. I'll just let this play
Very well.
for everybody.
Well, clearly I underpaid for that. Did you know what it could do?
The legends never mentioned mystical powers. The souls of my ancestors live within it. They intend to guide me.
Just don't forget who gave it to you, Takahashi.
I won't, Cage. Now, let's get him to Earthrealm.
I know home's here for you, Baraka. Let's size off, Ashra. You can come with if you want. I'm sure Liu Kang will welcome you.
I've never had a home. That would be wonderful.
Report, Shang Tsung.
The Soul Stealers are under construction. Quan Chi tests the final components as we speak.
And the army?
Will obey your every command, once it's been fed sufficient souls. I've also conceived the plan to break the Lin Kuei away from Liu Kang. Instead of defending Earthrealm, they will betray it.
Excellent. You have learned quickly, Shang Tsung. And well, you will soon reap the bounty of what you've sown.
Who are these Earthrealmers we're looking for?
You have their descriptions.
You can at least tell me why they're here. What they've done.
State secrets. Not for your ears.
Yes, Princess.
Fetch us water, please.
As you wish.
Careful, sister. Entanglements with Ungadi are forbidden. You know their vows. Who told you? No one. I have eyes. As do the snakes at court who would cheer your downfall. The Ungadi's rules are ridiculous. And you can change them when you are Empress. For now, you cannot jeopardize your ascension.
Night-night, sweet Prince of Darkness. Oh, perfect. You'll fit right in.
You couldn't steal a more functional hat.
What? It hides your face. And honestly, it suits you.
I still don't know about this. Carrying him
Alright,
around
sorry about
will
that,
attract
everyone. I'm
unwanted
back.
attention.
Look at it out there. It's like Mardi Gras. People will think you just party too hard.
But
What's the word? Go toward the stage, then right to the portal gate. But there are soldiers and constables everywhere.
Are you sure these are enough? One person spots us, and we are dead.
That's why I'll diversion.
but
They're
you
out
know,
for you
the
too,
point of
Saizar.
this,
To catch me, they must see me.
the point I'm trying to make here is that a
You didn't
lot
tell me you could go full predator.
of what feminists love to claim and say is women's oppression, women not having power, has always boiled down to pure classism. You know,
We can use that diversion.
so with that being said here, you know, there is so much here that we can
I'm going nowhere.
You know, there's enough evidence to extrapolate that, you know, not in a, you know, really high nutshell, but there is enough evidence to sit here and say that people of the right classes.
You know him? Who is he?
Unimportant, but it means the Earthrealmers are here. Rico.
And it's always been class. And, you know, just think about it. If you were the king of a realm, you could get away with more than, let's say, the local peasants could.
I'll get him.
So, with this being said, you know, we can, you know, there are those who can sit here and say this, sit here and say that. So, you know, there's always been high amounts of classism in the world. Or, as in the military loves to say, RHIP, rank has its privilege. Like, you know, if you're the officer in charge of a section, you know, everyone's at their, you know, everyone's. So, you know, now I choose to be. You know, I choose to be a very harsh critic and cynic for women, not because I hate them or because of XYZ. I don't hate women, I'm just very critical of women because it's just that, you know, we are more often than not, we are more often than given that women are these poor. So, with that in mind here, you know, it's, you know, we are sold, you know, it's very sad, but we are sold, you know, this. Now, people can sit there. Now, a lot of people will sit there and say,
I've no time to explain them.
Now, the Emperor loves to tell me that, you know, I just need a good woman to heal my heart, whatever. You know, the Emperor is entitled to his opinion. But, you know, what's the best way to say this? You know, I don't like giving too many people the grace argument. You know, there are plenty of people who are deserving of grace, but my problem is and, you know, I wish I could sit here and say and have the altruism that, you know, but, you know, I'm not here to sit here and ragtag and do other things.
Take the princess and go. My fight's not with her, or you.
It is now that you've laid your hands on her. I will take your life as punishment.
Fight.
Alright, that's enough. I don't know who you, Tanya. I'm sorry, was that supposed to hit me? But, you know, as much as I want to believe in the best of people, men and women included here, I don't. I've been around way too many women who are far too selfish to actually sit here and give women, you know, the benefit of the doubt.
My sentence is suspended, Umgadi.
So, with that being said here, I'm not...
What about him? Worry only about the Earth Realmers.
This is one of my movies. We get saved by a plucky comic sidekick.
We died today.
So,
We died
as
together.
much...
Not comic, but definitely plucky.
Now there's a Mortal Kombat classic, Johnny Cage fighting Goro. All we need is the nut shot now.
It's unlike Shang Tsung to leave loose ends.
Now that I'm free of him, I'll reveal your conspiracy to all of Outworld.
So, with this in mind here, you know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, give, you know, people this, you are this holy, graceful creature and you are deserving of this. That's just not who I am. As far as I'm concerned, in a lot of cases, sadly, I'm very much more of the opinion that, you know, how you are treated.
It will make your defeat that much more.
You know, I'm very much... I'm not going to sit here and quote the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated, because there are always going to be people who treat you like crap just because they don't like you. No. I'm saying call a spade and treat them as such.
We must go. Now.
So, with that in mind here, women who sit there and act a certain way, you know, I'm very much more inclined to treat them as such.
By the Elder Gods.
So,
We
you
had a
know,
run-in with Princess Melina's inner demons.
it's...
She took my sight, but Sento, in its own way, restored it.
I am glad that Sento bonded with you.
So, you know,
Though
it's
my
very
hope was that the
much,
means would be different
you
this
know,
time.
This time,
I don't want to
Only
keep
if you
harping
can see,
on
I
this,
just spoke.
but the point is that
The monks
I
will tend to
treat
your wounds.
you
We found Shang Tsung,
as...
but he got away. I can see why you're twitchy about him. He's neck deep in some serious shit.
Rest, eat, then we will discuss.
Can I also get a martini? Shaken, not stirred?
James Bond
I'm
reference.
sorry. Meet the newest members of the Earthrealm players. We wouldn't have made it back without them.
Astra and Sizos. As Earthrealm's protector, there is much I know.
Do you also know of my former master, Quan Chi? He colludes with Shang Tsung.
A new deadly alliance? Come, all of you. You must tell me all you know.
Well, so much for that martini.
So, you know, I sit there and so my answer to this is that, you know, I see women for who they really are. Flawed, like every human is.
I gave the sorcerers meaningless lives.
You know, I see them as flawed, but they're human. And, you know, they can make the choice to do better. But of course, you're always going to have people...
What do you mean?
So, you know, the point I'm trying to make here is...
Both sorcerers were visited by this person.
So, you know, it's when these people choose to be this, you know, I have no problem sitting here saying, oh, you think you deserve this? What have you done that says you deserve this?
Is it Chronica? Somehow resurrected?
You know, it's like that video of that woman saying she wants a man to be able to buy her a Pagani BC, or if she can't get a Pagani, you know, she deserves a Bayonetta F350. And, you know, these cars are worth, you know, some of these cars, the cars she's describing are as much as a house you would buy a house for. And she's saying, I deserve this.
Patience be hung.
And, you know, am I saying that this is all women? No, I'm not. But I'm saying when you have women whose attitude is, I'm unhappy about X, Y, and Z, and your answer to this is, if we stay where we are, and, you know, if I can get another job, or get a better, or maybe I can get an upgrade at the job I'm currently at, you know, maybe after a couple years of working like this,
Lord Liu Kang can see you now.
You know,
it is about time.
You know, we can upgrade our standard of living.
Shang Tsung is here, at the ruins of Ying Fortress. His soul stealers are already under construction. You must destroy them, and capture Shang Tsung before either...
So, you know, we will
leave immediately.
So, you know, as much...
You are not Lin Kuei. You would only hinder the effort.
Raiden and I are more than...
We're trained differently. It takes years to master our ways.
You and Raiden have my full confidence, but you are needed
So,
elsewhere.
this being...
Go to the Wuxi. The monks must prepare you for war.
So, and, you know, the thing that's actually really sad about all of this is women nowadays heavily focus on, because I'm unhappy, it's somebody else's fault.
We fight for duty.
Now,
As our
I can
father's
already
ghost
hear
possess
the
you.
Emperor saying that's not
All I
true.
hear is his voice.
But
We
if
must
you
honor his
actually
teachings,
sit
Mihawk.
there and, you know,
Vision
go out and
is what he
talk,
lacked.
you know,
was blind to
when
our
a woman
superiority.
is by herself,
settle for
it's
defending
her
our realm
responsibility,
when we could help
but it's
lead it.
also her
Our plan doesn't
boyfriend's
govern. It serves.
responsibility
It won't be our
to
future.
make this happen or make that happen. There's just far, far, far too much either blaming this, blaming that, or what else? You know, I don't like sitting here saying this kind of stuff.
As a boy, I heard tales of battles against your kind. I have fought them tall ones.
All Earth Realmers will soon know of Eternus. My realm starves, and it's coming here to feed.
Fight.
So with with everything I'm trying to sit here and say, I'm not trying to sit here and say that all women are like this and they blame whomever for their issues. I'm not saying that this is all women. I'm saying there are women who have this attitude, and and sadly, it needs to change and it needs to stop. And women need to hold themselves accountable. For every woman who gets a divorce, we'll go with the bare statistics that, most women are the ones who file for divorce. And, we have to sit here and ask, did you file for divorce for a good reason? Like, was he abusive? Or was he the guy who's so beyond controlling that, that what he does is, truly abusive? And what do I mean by truly abusive? There are women who sit there and say a man who yells at you is abusive. But, we have to sit here and ask, context for every situation is basically key. Let's say, for example, he works full-time and he's working, 60 hours a week. He's working 12-hour days, 5 days or so out of the week. Oops. And, he works 60 hours a week, maybe making 100, $1,500, he brings home $1,500 a month, and he works 60 hours a week to make that happen. And, she works, 20 hours, and we're not even saying kids here, because that's another dimension that, that is of complexity that's just thrown on there. But, just as an example, he works 60 hours a week, she works 20 hours a week, he gets up at 4:30 in the morning, gets to work by 6 a.m. and does not get home until 6 p.m. you know, he's working 12-hour shifts. You know, he's working 12-hour shifts. And, you know, we're not sitting here saying that she doesn't contribute to the household, but he comes home after...
You are not so fearsome.
So we go from there that she's working 20, he's working 60, and, you know, he's paying, you know, he's paying 3/4 of the household expenses, you know, outside of, oh, I don't know, maybe one of the bills, maybe not. You know, I'm making this situation as I'm talking here, but, you know, so as I sit here and prattle this along, you know, is it unreasonable for this man who pays 3/4 of the bills that, you know, and, you know, if she wasn't working, you know, it wouldn't change much, and he's covering 100% of the bills, and all the money she's making is all extra money for her. You know, we could even take it that far, but I'm not going to take it that far. But, you know, now, does this man feel entitled to her body? No, but he does have reasonable expectations of responsibility. Like, oh, I don't know, keeping the house clean so he doesn't have to come home. You know, he doesn't have to come home after being at work for 12 hours and have to spend the next 2 hours cleaning and cooking just so that way he can, you know, have a livable house. If he was going to do that, he might as well live on his own and hire a maid and not bother with having a spouse. That's a lot of gold.
There will be spoils in this war.
Let us win it first, brother.
Will the Soul Stone be completed on time?
So, you know, in short, you know, I mean, we could bring in the whole OJ argument here, because a lot of people sit here and say OJ was abusive to Susan, and, you know, the thing that we have to sit here and question is, you know, was he really? Because I imagine most people out here have heard, you know, those police recorded where Susan's calling the police for help. Oh, not Susan, Nicole, my bad. I'm saying the wrong name. But, you know, how Nicole's calling the police for help, and all you hear is OJ screaming, is yelling in the background. Now, unless we're the responding officers, you know, do we know what's going on there? No, we don't. And, you know, this begs us a question, you know. OJ, at this point in time, is a retired football player. You know, he's not playing anymore, and he's... What the heck? Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
No one can survive the Netherrealm's magic.
And, you know, as much as I want to sit here and say that, you know, domestic situations are all pure black and white, they're not. I mean, heck, even in my situation, if I hadn't have had a witness and a recording, you know, my situation could have gone very, very bad. But, you know, let's make an educated guess, if you will, here, of, you know, so, you know, he comes home and he's doing, you know, what he needs to do, because he's being a media personality, he's being guest spots, you know, he's being a B-list Hollywood celebrity, you know, he's auditioning for roles in Hollywood, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that. So imagine for a minute, you're O.J. Simpson, who's basically been up since at least 7. Well, no, he's been up since at least 5:30. You know, he hit the gym. You know, he hit the gym. He got some exercise in. By 7, you know, he's showered, dressed, and he's going out to do interviews. He's being the journalist, you know, he's being interviewed. He's doing this. You know, he's being interviewed. And when he's not doing that, when he's not doing those takes, he's being, you know, he's auditioning for roles and whatever. And, you know, he's doing all of this in Los Angeles, Hollywood, California, you know, however you want to say this. And, you know, he's being this personality, and, you know, he's been, you know, he also has to do makeup, he has to get ready to do it. You know, he also had to go to makeup, you know, he also had to memorize lines, or maybe he went and did a movie audition. You know, take your pick here. And he gets home 8 p.m. at night. And he gets home 8 p.m. at night, and all Susan's done is acted like a teenage girl. She's been running around, hanging out with her friends. She hasn't been taking care of the household. She's, you know, she's acting, you know, instead of acting like an adult, you know, she's acting like a teenage girl with zero responsibilities. And you know, especially after the first kid was born, he comes home to a trashed house. Susan's sitting there talking on a phone, talking to her girlfriend, or maybe she's got her little her little cadre of girls, and they're all sitting there chatting around, drinking wine, drinking champagne. You know, take your pick here. And he's like, okay, comes in. And what does he find? And all of a sudden, excuse me. And, you know, what does he do? He finds he finds that, not only has she not really been watching the kid, he comes home, finds the kid in the crib, crying its head off while she's been... And, she's has a sip, he goes check on the kid. Because a lot of people tend to forget that OJ was married before his marriage to Nicole, and he already had 2 kids with that woman. And he comes home and finds that this kid, the baby has a butt rash, and what do you find? The kid has a butt rash, the kid's screaming its head off, it's in pain, maybe the kid's hungry.
Can you win this war? Soul stealers are deadly, but they're
and it's he tends to the kid, gets the kid soothed, comes out and says, your friends need to leave, we need to talk. And they all laugh and giggle like, oh ha ha ha, very funny. Then he immediately grabs the champagne, whatever they're drinking, and then all of a sudden, and then he tells them to either leave or the police can make you leave. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we better get out of here because, oh no, bad evil man.
But does this history lesson have a point?
These statues were constructed
So
and enchanted
he turns around and they start arguing, they start fighting, and OJ is, this is taller, stronger, former linebacker, and he's yelling his head off because, holy cow, my home is trashed. The baby's in the crib with not a bad diaper rash, a really nasty diaper rash. And, essentially,
as our ally, you will be given command of several battalions. Few in Earthrealm could then resist the Lin Kuei.
So
how could you?
And then
Father would turn in his grave if he saw this. He was a doddering old
so then she starts freaking out because her husband's yelling, he's being aggressive. And then, she's screaming, crying. The situation just devolves.
Father had doomed the Lin Kuei to mediocrity. Now, we will achieve greatness.
So, we can sit here and, say that, this situation may have happened. But, the point I'm trying to make here is that, we can never really know that situation. So, as much as I want to sit here and say women have earned their place in the world, because, this, that, or the other thing.
He is a feisty one.
Are you going to blather or make yourself useful? This Earthrealmer must be neutralized. Fight.
So with this in mind, you know, we can sit here and say that, you know, this, that, and the other thing, you know, because we don't really know. What I'm saying here is, you know, one of many possible scenarios. So So, you know, as I said, what I said there was very much a, you know, what I'm saying, what I said there is very much
Let Kuai Liang escape.
much a what if scenario. But, you know, as much as I would like to sit here and say, you know, women are these divine, wonderful, beautiful creatures, I cannot actively sit there and say that. Why do I sit here and say this? Because, you know, there are plenty of women out there who have done good, been grace, and they are kind of graceful, blah, 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 blah. But as much as I hate to say this, you know, it's very, very much that, you know, ow. So, it's very much to the point.
I assume your brother has not. The sorcerer tempted him into forsaking his oath. He can be convincing, can't he? Spurning him is a grave mistake. Fight.
And, you know, people will sit there and say that makes me, some people will sit there and tell me that because I hold this purview, I hate women. Which is actually not true in the slightest. I just believe humans, whether they be men or women, are flawed. And, you know, there are plenty of people who can choose to do good just as they can choose to do bad. Get over here. So, you know, it's very, so as much as I would love to sit there and say, so, you know, I'm not sitting here saying that there aren't women who aren't graceful in their own way and aren't great people, and who exemplify the qualities that, as a man, you would want in a woman. But, you know, but as sad as it is, you know, I hold this cynicism not to be a misogynist. I hold it because, you know, if you sit there and give women the immutable divine, you know, this is the woman, this is a divine woman, and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I don't do that. I do not believe that. Women are human, and they are driven by their biological imperatives, too. So because there are women, because women are this way, I cannot, in good faith and conscience, test your might. That's a beautiful. Right into the molten metal.
I am not finished. For burning me, you'll burn in the Netherrealm. Fight. Desist, or I'll scorch the rest of you. Fight.
So, my diatribe is getting a bit too long, but, the point I'm trying to make here is... So,
Lin Kuei's flame is not easily smothered.
So with all this being said here, those who want to hold women in such regard because you have such positive views and example of them.
What happened? Where's Han? He's betrayed us. We're all in imminent danger. Letting Father die. Forsaking Earthrealm. He's abandoned all reason. I knew Bihan's
So for those who want to sit there and believe that, you can believe that all you want.
We can't let his
I
corruption spread.
do not.
Whatever it takes, I am
So
with you.
because I hold
We may not share blood,
this,
but we are brothers.
I hold this
Do your
purview.
oaths mean nothing. It's your duty to obey my will.
Not when it betrays Lin Kuei principles. We won't sacrifice them to serve your ambition.
No, in a way, I kind of envy the men who view women that way because they can believe in this good woman. Sadly, I don't.
Kuei Liang!
Stay back. This is my fight. End this, brother. Embrace the future.
And I can admit I'm envious of that because it's I understand why there are men out there who hold this view of women. That's nice for them. That's great. I do not hold those views. Now, I will admit I'm envious because, it would be nice for me to be able to allow myself to believe that. But, this is as far as I'm willing to go. I will judge a person, whether they be man or woman, based solely on their actions. And if their actions only prove their selfishness, well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I refuse to give So I refuse to give.
What are you doing? Once he's exposed, won't you be made Grandmaster?
You forget Cyrax and Sector. Their loyalty to Bihan is absolute. They'll sooner abet his corruption than follow me. We must chart a new course. One that both honors our father's legacy and serves Earthrealm.
So...
Help me. We can't leave him here to aid Shang Tsung.
So, with that being the case here, I envy those people who can view this positivity in such a good light.
How did you achieve this, sorcerer? You arrived a moment too soon, Geras.
There are those, if they want, they can sit there and say all they want that I hate women. I don't. I'm just very cynical. And my cynicism comes not from hatred.
Not of this timeline. How could someone from a previous timeline enter this one?
My cynicism comes not from a place of hate. It comes from a place of experience.
Than those that have come before.
And, do the women you see on the whatever, the women you see on the whatever podcast, and the women you see on Fresh and Fit, do these people...
There can be no doubt that Shang Tsung's benefactor hails from it.
And who she is, why she's here.
So, I don't, as much as the Emperor wants to criticize me and say that, he believes, because it's okay for him to believe that I hate women. I don't. Again, I don't. I am just, I am very much a cynic, and I am critical.
The situation gives me no
So,
I will need your help, Geras, to prove my claims to the Empress.
So, as much as there are those who would love to sit here and say that this is bad about me, it is not. And I'm really, really, really disappointed that there are those who view men being cynical of women as misogyny, because sadly a lot of it has nothing to do with hatred of women. It's called fair judgment and criticism.
Her decision was unwise, but she no longer seeks my counsel, and I doubt she's interested in yours.
The Empress has been deceived. Shang Tsung and General Shao have fomented this crisis as a means to steal her throne.
General Shao? I knew he was hiding his true intentions. But join Shang Tsung? I knew he couldn't be trusted. Were I still Umgadi, he would never have breathed the same air as the Empress. My palace sources told me he arrived out of nowhere, and immediately had the Empress's ear.
He gained her trust by treating Princess Melina's condition. Tragically, she is afflicted with Tarkat disease.
Tarkat? The Empress must be beside herself. If Shang Tsung found a treatment, no wonder she embraced him.
I have shared this with no one. I trust that you, of all people, will keep this secret.
Of course. Were it made public, it would bring down the royal family.
We may. Empress Sindel needs our help. Will you join me?
Emperor Jarrett's death, the pain it caused Empress Sindel, has always haunted me. I failed the royal family once, I won't do so again.
So, the people who sit there and say we can't criticize women or we can't actually
My Ungadi
look.
contacts had said the general soldiers had been encroaching. But still, I can't fathom it. General Shao committing treason?
It is the fruit of a poisonous seed planted by Shang Tsung. He played to the general's vanity, inflamed his prejudices to convince him that he alone could save our world.
He may be unstoppable. The Ungadi don't have numbers, and my constables aren't trained for war.
Know that I, too, will aid in the Empress's defense.
Driver, what is it? I may need that aid right now.
So those who give people like this a pass, you know, I can sit
Return
here.
Liu Kang to the portal gate, Li Mei. He isn't welcome in Outworld.
I won't support the general, Reiko, nor his plot to usurp the throne.
Then you won't live to see the new regime.
They have us surrounded.
I am Earthrealm's protector, Li Mei. I am no stranger to combat.
Then let's get out there.
So with all this
Should
being
have joined
said,
us, not the constabulary. We could have used your Ungadi skills.
Enough. I've no use for a traitor's compliments.
so you know, it's nice. You know, I want, and you know, I can even sit here and say I wish I could believe in the so, you know, as much as, you know, it is, you know, as much as there are those who hold women in such high regard, you know, that's nice for them. That's really beautiful, nice, whatever you want to call it. I don't hold these same views. And more than likely, I will never hold these views because, you know, I have seen the selfishness of women. I have been harmed by the selfishness of women. And there are those who will sit there and say, you know, you should let it go. Okay, well, hindsight is 20/20. Hindsight is 20/20. Why should I give every woman I meet the benefit of the doubt? You know, it's nice that I want, you know, I already give most people benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying that, you know, I don't think there are bad people out there, it's just but I have been...
You and your accomplices will face judgment, Reiko. We must leave. Reinforcements will be on the way.
Word of his arrival precedes you.
Surrender if you wish to remain unharmed.
Let us pass, Tanya. The Empress and her family are in danger. He brings word that Shang Tsung and General Shao plot against them.
The General? Are you so easily taken in by lies? Once again, you prove incapable of protecting the royal house.
Fight!
Oops. Oops, I'm not paying attention. My bad. So, you know, it's, as much as, I think it's admirable that there are people who want to, give.
We waste precious time, Tanya. Let's finish this.
Fight!
So, I think it's wonderful that there are people who can have that trust, that belief. Sadly, I am not one of those people. I am a cynic because of what happened in my life.
I'm sorry you made that necessary. Priestesses. You know who I am. Of my deeds when I was one of you. I may no longer be welcome. But in my heart, I am still Umgadi. I will always honor my vows. He's here to end a threat to the Empress. Stand against us, and she will lose the throne. Stand with us, and we will save the Empire.
Why didn't you kill me?
Because we mean you no harm.
And that you live will help prove that fact to the Empress.
How dare you, Li Mei? It's not enough that you let Jared be murdered. You let Liu Kang destroy the rest of my family?
My heart broke when your husband died. I lost not only my emperor, but you, my closest friend. I know you may never forgive me.
So, to reiterate this, I don't hate
we are here
women.
To help you.
It's just that my lifetime...
No, daughter. Your condition.
Your faithlessness astounds, Li Mei. How can you side with Earthrealm against us?
I'm acting for your family's benefit, and for Outworlds. If you took a moment, you'd realize it.
Fight!
I kind of wish they still had a bicycle kick in this game, but they don't.
must be smarter, princess.
So with
No,
this,
Melina. I forbid it.
I must. If I won't risk my life for the throne, I'm not worthy of it.
I remember teaching you that, princess. You were but a girl.
That was long ago. Much has changed.
My loyalty to your family hasn't.
That is my
Trust me now
purview
as
here.
you did then.
You know, I can sit here and, you know, I don't necessarily have to sit here and well, the evidence that I've offered speaks for itself. That in a lot of cases, that, you know, what a lot of assertions have always been.
Forgive me, princess, but I won't allow you to hurt yourself
So,
or anyone
you know,
else.
if there are those who wish to, you know, this is, you know, so, you know, there are those who sit there and say, you know, you really don't like women or you don't hate women, or you must hate women. The answer to this question is I don't. It's just I'm very cynical when it comes towards women.
I must be careful. I cannot harm her.
You know, I'm cynical because of my life, not because of what I see on the internet. And, you know, again, as I've stated, you know, a lot of the things that, you know, women, that feminist women love to say, you know, it has very little to do with the fact that they are women. And it has much more to do with the fact with classism. I mean, do you think that, you know, there are so
Tarkat makes victims of us all.
You know, there's so many historical examples of women living outside of what, you know, what these women claim to be history. This, that, and the other thing. And
Argus, thank you. I am in your debt.
So, with
No,
that
Your Majesty.
being said here,
There can be no debt between friends.
I am glad she is safe, and that our conflict has ended.
It is paused, not ended. Li Mei has earned my goodwill. Whether you do remains to be seen.
I seek only peace.
Is that why you send minions on secret missions into my empire? You've proved yourself the enemy I was long warned you would be.
I understand your anger, but I had reason to believe that Shang Tsung posed a threat to both of us. Until I confirmed them, I did not want to burden you with my suspicions.
And now?
They have proven true. Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, the General. They conspire to conquer our realms.
A serious charge. Where is your proof?
At Shang Tsung's laboratory. If what you see there does not convince you, I will surrender Earthrealm without a fight.
the pure look of disgust on her face.
How could I have so misjudged them? For Shang Tsung to indulge in such depravity. For General Shao to condone it. They are not the men I thought them.
Despite my best efforts,
I need
neither
to
man nor Quan Chi are who they were meant to
I
be.
need to use the restroom,
They're
so I'm
not
gonna
your
let this play for
responsibility.
everybody.
They're outworlders.
But it is I who crafted their destinies, along with those of all other beings, at the dawn of history.
You created the realms. Is your mind addled, demigod?
I am a mere demigod now, but eons ago, I was more powerful than all of the Elder Gods combined. I was a Titan, and the Keeper of Time. This is Geras.
Your Majesty, Your Highnesses.
Geras is the guardian of the Hourglass, a celestial object which lies beyond the realms. The Hourglass regulates time and destiny. When I wielded its power, it was upon me to craft all of existence, which I did when I restarted history.
Restarted?
This timeline was preceded by billions more. Though this is the first of Liu Kang's design. The others were designed by his predecessor. Kronika was obsessed with equalizing good and evil. When a timeline veered too far to one or the other, she would halt it and restart history, tinkering with lives and events in the hope of achieving her golden balance.
Prior timelines, Kronika gave Shang Tsung and Quan Chi mastery of the most vile magics. Shao was not a general, a tyrannical ruler bent on conquest. Yusidel were his ruthless wife, who would do anything to preserve your privilege. When I took the Hourglass from Kronika, I vowed to do better. So in this timeline, the sorcerers would not gain their dark powers. Shao would be your loyal follower, and you would rule Outworld firmly, but fairly.
But someone has interfered with Liu Kang's design.
That feels good to use the bathroom and not have to sit there and pause the game too. On controller.
To be the villains they were in previous timelines.
Where to begin? Am I to kneel to my creator? Do you expect worship?
No, Your Majesty.
So, with this in mind here, folks, you know, this is my 2 cents on this subject, but, you know, feel free to ask me any questions. You know, this is a live Q&A. You can ask me any question you want as long as it's YouTube friendly, and I'll do my best to answer. And for those who want to other things, you know, that's up to you as
Dare
well.
you conspire against Outworld?
Not against Outworld, but against your misguided rule. Your deference to him leaves us all vassals.
So you sanction these unspeakable horrors? Lie to me about the threats we face? Thanks to you, Earthrealm blood is already on my hands. Bloodshed, without cause or provocation.
Empress, everyone, stay back.
What is it?
The Amulet of Shinnok, a weapon of terrifying power.
It should not exist. Its maker is powerless.
But, you know, I'm an open book, and for anyone who wants to demand proof of me, you know, I will gladly look on when I'm not, you know, in between things here to look up proof in what you need to see that at least I have some validity to my points.
So General Shao casts his lot with Outworld's enemies against me. He's a fool to ally with you blood-sucking fiends.
You know what's sad? What's interesting about this is that I have never actually heard in real life someone using a pair of using a pair of splits like that to kick out like that. It'd be interesting to actually see somebody use that in real life. But
Still, you fight on. It is a pointless endeavor.
Fight!
You're no better than Shang Tsung's monstrosities.
Tanya and your daughters, they are not dead, but trapped in the amulet. We can still save them.
Detain me! It's no surprise that you are party to Shao's treason. Know that it will cost you your life.
I owe him mine many times over. Sacrificing it in his service would be an honor.
you know, I gotta give it to Reiko. He is the definition of that dedicated soldier. You know, if certain countries, if certain countries actually had that level of, I missed that. Oh. Of course. I always get the hit. Ooh, for the ribs. But, oh! But if there were countries that had soldiers as loyal as Reiko, you know, it would make some countries very hard to fight. Because that level of loyalty does not, that devotion, that loyalty is not found all that often. I imagine there are a couple countries where they wish that it was more frequent. It would be nice to actually see that happen for some, but it's not likely to see that.
Your betrayal hurts most, Rain. I thought of you as a son.
I've outgrown you, Empress. Shang Tsung's taught me that I've scratched just the surface of my power. To explore it, I can't be bound
Yes,
by your
Rain.
limits.
Exporting the bound of magic is very interesting, especially when you can actually follow through. But the problem with following with going that far. Darn it. Mess that up. There's a Futurama joke if I ever saw it. You want to die like last men on Amazonia? How'd they die? Crushed pelvises. Whoa, yes! Oh, yes! Thank you, Lord! We're not dying of a crushed pelvis, folks. To kind of finish that off.
You are forever dead to me.
Oh, wow. Gotta give it to General Shao. He's pretty dang ruthless.
Boy you were. How your father fought to push you past your infirmities. Now you repay him by spitting on his ideals. Your revolt shreds every value he held dear.
Fight.
Finally nailed that.
Both me and the Empire. Your family name will be forever tarnished.
Missed. Darn it.
These are your raid's final moments. Savor. Fight.
Counter.
You are relieved, General.
The amulet, Your Majesty.
Ugh, that must not have felt good.
I hate to disrupt, but we must act quickly to save Earthrealm.
Is that the command of my creator?
No, Your Majesty.
No, Your Majesty.
It is the request of a
Your
friend.
friend. Yeesh.
We are ready.
We are ready.
And the Soul Stealers? Keep them running. I am sure we'll find a use for the collected souls.
For the collected souls. Sadly, again, Melina's eyes aren't meant to be sharpened. They're not meant to be sharp. That's like the great irony. Ah, yes. Scorpion went fishing and he nailed the hook, and he nailed the spear hooks, the spear fishing.
Will they stand down, if ordered?
No. Those are the General's most loyal lieutenants.
They must be neutralized if we are to shut down the Soul Stealers.
Yes, they do. We should split up.
Stay behind me, Princess.
No. We fight together.
Wow, Tanya, you're so useful.
What's wrong?
My ribs. They may be broken.
Ermac.
Help me up.
No, Tanya, stay down. This time, I protect you.
We are Ermac. It is pointless to resist us.
Come any closer, and you'll feel the points of my blades.
We are many. You are one. Your souls will become part of our collection.
Sure.
Fight.
Wasn't expecting that. Get my butt handed.
Join us. Fight.
Oh well.
Taking my soul.
Fight.
That was strange. You didn't even say fight.
You'll have no part of me, Ermac.
Amazing, Melina. In another life, you could have been Umgadi.
I prefer this one, dearest Tanya.
Father, is it
Yes,
truly
it is
you?
your dad.
Yes, Melina. This body was created from the living forest's souls. Mine was one of them. Your attack broke the spell that binds us. Now,
Awesome.
I am in control.
Father.
You are Umgadi, but not Libre.
Umgadi.
I replaced her after your death, Your Majesty. She left the Order rather than accept punishment.
Punishment? It was not her fault.
A discussion for another time, Father. We must go.
Katana's so happy.
Yes, Sindel. It's me.
How I've missed you.
Greetings, Jarrett.
Liu Kang, my friend. We meet again.
It is good to have you back. We once again find ourselves in challenging circumstances.
And once again, we will prevail. As always, Sindel, I am yours to command.
Alright, everybody. I'm already over my 2-hour mark here, so I'm gonna have to cut things off here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember, these are always live Q&As. I welcome any question as long as it's YouTube friendly. But again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see everybody